And now it's time for the sponsor perspective portion of our program. Before we get going, a quick clarification. While I'm conducting the interview and the questions are mine, the content of this portion of the event should not be considered editorial in nature. With that, I'm pleased to welcome Caryl Stern, Executive Director of the Walton Family Foundation. Carolyn, it's so great to have you with us today. I hope you've been enjoying the conversations. They seem very real, but I don't want to have just another education forum. I want to sort of look at this time and say, how can we make this key responsibility of the nation better than it's been? And sometimes crises are that moment to reflect and to twist. And I'd love to hear your perspective on that.
Great. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. I think it is a critical moment, and I was enjoying the conversation. This crisis is shining a spotlight on things that we knew existed and forcing us to take a new look. And it is an opportunity to build back better. The barriers are significant and many of them are predictable. But in addition to the curricular things, I loved what Callie Evans was saying about let's give kids what they want and help them to learn in ways that they want to learn. I think that's exciting, and I loved some of the things your other guests were saying. But in addition to the curricular pieces, there is this whole psychosocial aspect to child development that normally is addressed through school. School is normalcy for them, and 1 in 4 kids in America is not accessing that right now.
What do we know about the social and emotional challenges that are hitting students right now in this time? And I'll ask you the same thing. What do teachers need? Plus to be able to respond to those feelings of the students and where they're at.
Past crises, 9/11, Hurricane Katrina, they've documented what the social impact has been. I spent 14 years leading UNICEF USA. I saw firsthand what happens to kids in the wake of any disaster. And even in our own backyard, going into a Houston classroom after the big Texas storms and the first time it rained, watching first graders immediately go and hide under their desks because they were so terrified by what had happened before. School is usually the place where kids are identified as having a need and where those needs are met. Right now, many children have experienced illness in the family, in some horrible cases, deaths in the family. Many have seen a parent lose a job. Their geography has changed as parents tried to find safer communities to ride out COVID. They too are experiencing all of this stress. And then we have the added stress of the digital divide that you were just talking about, the 1 in 4 who don't have access to the internet or don't have the technology tools to access it. So when kids come back to the classroom, they're bringing all of that with them. But so is the teacher. The teacher is experiencing this crisis right along with that student. Few have been trained in how to teach after a 5-month learning gap. Few have been trained in how to teach online or how to identify a kid in crisis online. They don't have the regular resources at their fingertips of other trained professionals to assist in that assessment. And very, very few know how to identify the psychosocial needs in the wake of a pandemic because we've never experienced this before.
Caryl, what I really have respected and liked about the Walton Family Foundation and its commitment to education across the country, and I've seen a lot, is that it's in lots of pockets. I understand one size doesn't fit all, and you have to go in there. But at the same time, you're able to see best and promising practices that really do make a difference. And I'm interested, just in wrapping up here, what some of those best and promising practices out in the field that you've seen are of teachers and communities and parents and institutions hitting it out of the park that we should be aware of.
They're big and they're small. You've got
sometimes
CNN,
small is the best. Sometimes small is the cool one. Yeah.
Sometimes it is. You've got CNN and Sesame Street, September 12th, doing a really great, special on this topic. You've got City Year training tutors to provide one-on-one training to kids who need extra help. But at the same time, you've got, Carrie Rodriguez of the National Parents Union, who distributed $200,000 to parents to just support small learning groups, or educators at the Bronx School for the Arts literally going door to door to deliver books and T-shirts to students. Sometimes all it takes is that teacher making a phone call to that student to just say, how are you today? What's going on? What do you need? And I think that's the role each of us can play right now, is recognize kids are experiencing this pandemic without the skills or the emotional maturity to fully understand it. And we are the adults, and we have a responsibility to put that hand out.
Well, I really appreciate that, and that reflects part of what Richard Glass just shared that I found so powerful is just empathy in this moment. So Caryl Stern, Executive Director of the Walton Family Foundation, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts today and supporting today's program.
Thank you very much.